Hey everyone, Karnak here, Star Wars Armada Explained. Thanks for joining me. I do appreciate you guys watching the video. We're going to be looking at the Imperial Officer Admiral and Star Wars names. I know I'm awful at them. Chiraneau, Chiriru, Cherry Guy, Chirpy. Who knows? We'll, you call him whatever you want. I call him Chirpy. A lot of people just abbreviate his name to Chirpy. So Admiral Chirpy here. He reads, or let's take back one step. If you look there in front of his name, you'll see a dot or bullet point. Signifies that he is unique, meaning you can only bring one of him in your fleet. He fits into the officer seat, which you can see there by the icon, the bottom left-hand corner of the card. He is faction specific to Imperials only, which you can see that symbol next to his point cost, which is 10, so he's a little expensive. He reads squadron symbol, which means a squadron command, whether that be the squadron dial, a squadron token, or a squadron dial and token resolved together. So squadron command. Squadrons that you activate can move even if they are engaged. When an engaged squadron moves in this way, treat it as having a printed speed of 2. He does have an errata. Not errata, a clarification. It reads, if a ship has Corruptor and Admiral Chiraneau equipped, engaged squadrons with bomber that it activates have a speed of 3. We'll get into that, and we'll also get in a few other nuances that, because of this ruling, yes, he can affect some other facets of speed increases. So, because when he came out, it was Wave 1, which is, forever ago, and obviously there's been way more cards since him and Corruptor that he can work with. Let's dive right in. How does he work? So typically when squadrons are engaged, see if I can center this exactly the way I want it. There we go. Typically, when squadrons are at distance 1 of each other, at or within, they are engaged and they cannot move. In this case here, you'll see this X-Wing is engaged with Mauler Mythal and that TIE Bomber, and this X-Wing is engaged with Mauler Mythal here and that TIE Bomber there. Now, there are some squadrons that have a keyword called grit, where if they're only engaged with one squadron, even if that squadron doesn't have heavy, they can move around. So what heavy means, and that's printed on the cards, is pretty much you don't prevent squadrons from attacking ships or moving. X-Wings are not heavy, bombers are heavy, Mauler Mythal is not heavy. So these X-Wings are now stuck with Mauler here, and Mauler's stuck because those X-Wings are there. And until either Mauler Mythal dies, those X-Wings can't move away, or Mauler can't move until the X-Wings die, unless something like an intel ship comes along and gives everyone heavy by granting intel. But Chiraneau is unique in the fact that you don't need intel to still move your squadrons, which is especially important for a squadron like Mauler Mythal, who does his AoE splash damage if he moves and ends up engaged with squadrons. So remember, if there was like an obstacle in the way, we'll say the station, for example, if that station was right there, Mauler Mythal is not engaged with either of those squadrons, and he can move freely. But remember, if he was like the plop right there, the obstacle is preventing engagement. He can't auto splash out to those X-Wings. Alright, perfect. I'm just giving this example so people can understand why this his card, how it works. Okay, so if this Quasar Fire, for example, it's at close to the medium range of that squadron, it shows a squadron command. It's going to activate Mauler Mythal or the other of his squadrons. So Mauler Mythal can move at a printed speed of 2, which distance 1 is this black circle, distance 2 is this red circle. So Mauler Mythal could essentially pick himself back up and place himself back down and then dish out auto damage to those ships. Or maybe what's behind those X-Wings is something that you need to try to put some fire or damage onto, and you can move him to throw down some auto damage if you need to. So that's where he can be good in that sense, because again, he can move at that speed of 2. Doesn't matter how much he's being engaged by. Same deal with the TIE Bombers. Typically in this situation, these TIE Bombers are stuck and they can't do anything. But with a little bit of maneuvering, you can see there that you can get out of the range of that X-Wing. Now, ideally, the ideal situation is that you could get out of the range of the X-Wing to attack a ship, but, it doesn't look like that can be the case. But what happens, for example, and that's pretty much Admiral Chirpy, by the way. He pretty much just makes it so your ships can move that distance 1 to 2 without needing intel. Okay, let's get into his FAQ. Let's show some examples of some cards that can affect that. So as we saw in the FAQ, it says that if you got a title like Corruptor, which is a Victory class Star Destroyer title, your bombers can move at a printed speed of 3. Why is this? Because Corruptor, it says any squadron with bomber you activate, its speed is increased by 1 until the end of its activation. So that does coincide with Chirpy, because it makes that speed increase go from 2 to 3. So this bomber now in this situation can outdistance that X-Wing and reposition itself to now shoot ships. And it didn't need intel for that. This also means Chirpy works with titles, for example, like Vector, which is a Gazanti title, which any squadron without heavy can have its speed increased by 1 to a maximum of 5. Again, the maximum speed you can ever go is 5, period. And again, he also combinates with All Fighters Follow Me, because any squadrons that you activate gain a permanent speed 1 boost. So again, that all works. So for example, if you were to do All Fighters Follow Me, and then for example activate Mauler Mythal with Vector, he would actually have a printed movement speed of 4, because those effects all stack. So he could actually move his regular speed anywhere he wanted without needing intel. So, but as you can kind of tell, like, that's a lot of moving parts to make work. But again, all these cards so far and any other future editions, you know, work with Chirpy. Again, it's only squadrons that you activate. So something like Squall or Fighter Coordination Team. Let's take a look at these cards. So what Squall do? It just says when you activate your ship, you can move 2 squadrons that are unengaged, or you may choose up to 3 squadrons unengaged at close to medium range. Those squadrons can move distance 2. If they do, they cannot end their movement engaged. Again, he does not work with Squall, because Squall is not activating any squadrons, it's just moving squadrons, and Chirpy requires that you activate squadrons in order to gain his effect. Same deal with Fighter Coordination Team. It's after you execute a maneuver, you can move a number of unengaged friendly squadrons. You can move them up to distance 1. Again, you're not activating those squadrons. Chirpy is not able to affect cards like that. So that's Admiral Chiraneau. I think that it explains all of his unique abilities and what he brings to the table. There is no other crazy interactions or like crazy niche things going on. He's pretty straightforward, and for 10 points, some people, again, he's only 1 officer. You can only put him on 1 ship, so it makes it difficult to justify if you should or shouldn't bring intel. But at least he's another option for the Empire. But I appreciate you guys watching. Of course, if you have any questions, if I got anything wrong, or feel like something's not right, please point it out. I do respond to all the comments. If something is wrong, I make sure I try to fix it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and like next time, I'll see you next time.